All right. Hey, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, Khan, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to all you Akim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. And it's a couple of brothers from the Great Millstone Houston camp. I'm the brother Quara Abad. And as always, we got the beloved Elder Taza as well.
Khan.
Khan and at the Wadi How Bashim Shah for blessing us with another opportunity to come forth and provide this information or these prophecies, the happenings that's going on in these current times that we in. And which as we always say, there's a lot happening, whether it's major news, breaking news, or it seemed like a simple article. All things are pointing towards prophecy. And as many prophecies or things that we're looking forward to take place, but it's two major prophecies, and that's the MOTB and World War III. Within those two things taking place, you're gonna have other events, as far as concentration camps, famines, civil war, UFOs being shown, people struggling. So we're in exciting times, and there's a lot of information that's going out, a lot of false news as well, like Trump like to say. But that's why we had a Holy Spirit through the lens of prophecy to be able to decipher what's true and what's not, because we ultimately understand the end game and know what have to happen, man. No matter what these people put out on the TV, you see. But we got two topics tonight we'll touch on. Um, Probably gonna be a shorter lesson than what we usually do, but we'll roll with the spirit. As you see from the title, it says Thursday Live UFOs and RFIDs. All right. And so before we hop into that, we got a video as well. We're gonna play video too. But before we hop into it, Taza Pod, do you have anything?
No, we can get into it. Let's roll.
We can get it. So we'll hop straight into it. The first segment going into those chariots, which we call chariots, the chariots of Israel, but the world know them as UFOs or UAPs, unknown area phenomenons. Right now, you've been having lately America, the government coming out and said they got UFO files, all these different files. They got Epstein files, UFO, all these different files that's coming out. And what they said, they have sightings, videos of chariots. I even heard on one dude said they found a body. they got I said like it. One Edomite said they found they got proof of a downed chariot and a body in there. So Esau full of BS, man. Because we know, us and I know, we know this ain't just no random vehicles with no strange creatures called aliens or grays. These are the angels controlling these vehicles, man. And what I thought of before listening to all this information and reading over some stuff is Elder Tazapa, you mentioned it, Project Bluebeam. That's one thing to come in consideration. But also, when somebody wrong or guilty, they try to jump ahead of the curve, to kind of ease the consequences. When somebody about to get in trouble, they'll try to jump ahead of everything. That's what Esau trying to do. He's trying to jump up ahead of everything. Because I know they seeing sightings out there. I know Esau seeing some things. He got satellites. I know they seeing things. But what he trying to do, remember, Esau don't fight fair. He's not a fair man. He know them angels getting closer. He know judgment getting closer. And the Lord probably giving them more vivid imagery than just a speck of light in the sky. And they ain't even what they have been saying, they ain't gonna show the people that, just like the Epstein files. What's in there, they ain't showing the people that for real. But the thing Esau trying to do is get ahead of this so he can control the narrative, even of the chariot, so he can control the narrative, which opens way and gives room for what? Project Bluebeam. For him to now set up fake events. He gonna tell the world his chariots, UFOs. He might even have ChatGPT or AI make fake pictures and videos and show the people. Now the people go get scared. Oh my God, this is real. And then he might start faking things. But the point is, this opens up a lot of avenues for Esau to bring in false flags. And also, this is shedding light even more on the Lord's angels, man, and how they go come in the chariot. So either way, it's prophecy being spoken about in the earth, prophecy being revealed, shown in the earth, you know. But I hop into this quick article real quick.
Well, I got one for you real quick.
You got it on Tazapah?
Yeah, this is Revelation chapter 20, verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should not deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. All right. And so that angel having the key, we don't know for certain who that is, but it's on the right hand side. So it's Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shah, ultimately. But one of his angels, that key of the bottomless pit, where the key represents, well, the chain represents slavery. All right. The key, of course, to loose the lock and chain. But in this case, he's locking this devil up. All right. Meaning he was going into captivity. All right. And so just as the scriptures say for us, no man was going to loose us. All right. No man was going to loose him. This angel had the key. Wasn't nobody going to let this angel out till, like the scripture said, that 1,000 years should be fulfilled, which was fulfilled at the Renaissance, which means rebirth. Re is again or back, and naissance, it means birth. And so you have verse 2, and laid hold on the dragon. This is talking about the Edomites, the Romans, that old serpent, letting you know that, this devil go all the way back to the garden. That old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. So that's not the spiritual demon Satan. This is speaking about his children, the Edomites. You know them as the white people. All right. They're the devil and they are Satan. Devil meaning deceiver, going back to the Greek diablos. Satan, going back to the Hebrew shaitan, means adversary. He is the accuser of the brethren. All right. Because he's adverse. And then the point being, I'm going to jump down to verse 7. It says, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations. All right. And this is what we are. And this is what's he deceiving on everything, on all levels. And especially with this, what they call it now, unidentified aerial phenomenon. He's looking to deceive. But it says, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle. Even this war is through deception. And that's how Gog and Magog is being gathered, by the deception. And you got covert and overt deception with this war. All right, with the U.S. saying, okay, let's call a ceasefire. And then they bomb it, killing dignitaries. You got that deception, then you got, the deception that all these people playing at the top in cahoots. The top Iranian families in cahoots with the top small hat families, and they all in cahoots. And that's going to work to our favor because they're going to turn on each other. Well, they are. It is, infighting. All right. But anyway, It says, God and Magog to gather them together to battle. That's talking about Russia, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. So we are in the time of this deception. All right. And it's on full-fledged. It's on. And he running with it because, like I said earlier in my lesson, that we're at the bottleneck now, where he's limited on time. So he don't have time to mess around. Now, this is Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil. It ain't a different one. It ain't a new devil. It's that same devil, that old serpent, Esau. All right. For the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. You see? And so, right. So the deception is its own, full-fledged. They just come with, we possibly get to see blue beam in effect on a large scale. They do the little concerts and all this and that. They've done that with the lasers and all this, but to see it and possibly, and then possibly fake a second coming of their Messiah. Because that was in some of the plans, to fake the second coming. And just like you were saying, so they can control the narrative. But yeah, that was it, brother. I just wanted to get them verses, man. We're in the age of this great deception. But in this deception, all things are being revealed. If you know who to listen to and where to look. The truth is out here now. So you got it out.
Kind of got a quick one. Sirach 14.
Come on with it.
And 5, it says, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. It's going into the wicked. It says, there is none worse than he that envieth himself. And this is a recompense of his wickedness, is the point. And if he doeth good, right? It says, and if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly. And that's again, that's Esau. He trying to make it seem like he doing good and helping the people. As you'll see, he is, we doing this for the people. We don't want y'all to be out there in the dark. And another thing, and we go play this video, but one thing this dude said in this video, which we've been said that other times, I probably know we touched on it, whether we heard a video, said and we commented on it, or we said it, but how Trump, he really want to be remembered as one of those great presidents.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, I believe.
Yep. Yeah. And this dude gonna say that in his videos. And so so that was me. And you said that was the spirit had us say that. I think it was you said it, but this dude gonna say that. He was like, Trump want to be one of those great presidents remembered, in history. And this gonna be one of those events that if he revealed his information, that could catapult him into being, a figurehead, and that's another thing. These elites, man, they
like
so
Miro.
Cool.
Got that ego. You got it.
And it's cool. I say these elites so cold, man, how they plan on these people's minds, because they use Trump and they postured him up. Like, I'm talking about way before he was president. I'm talking about when he was still a young man, they postured him up as the all-American white man. And, he was cool with the blacks and, in rap videos and TV shows and fashion, all these things. They set Trump up like as he was a true American. And now, and once he got older,
all the Jake put him in they, and they rap songs and shit, balling like Trump or whatever they, but yeah, you got it out. My bad.
Now you're good. But now, so Americans thought Trump is the all-American, man, right? The hunk. But when he got into his presidency, people still knew Trump from how the elites postured him up over the years. But and it's so cold how they did it. But that was their plan all along. To have you think you got a leader who's with you. He came in talking about he go take down the deep state. We go drain the swamp. Ain't no CBDCs, ain't no digital IDs. We ain't doing none of that, right? They had Trump coming in thinking, the people thinking he was against the New World Order. The whole time, this is the perfect person for it. Because as the people think Trump is with them, he can easily play that role and bring everything in without the people knowing it, because they wouldn't expect Trump to do it, if that makes sense. You know, they wouldn't expect Trump to do it. And this is one of those things to where he go bring it out. Oh, we need to bring out these UFO files. They trying to do this because all past presidents should have done it, but it's gonna be looked at again as Trump did it though. Trump the one who went after the migrants though. Trump the one who, going after the deep state. But they posting him up as he the man doing this. But again, going back to the scripture, Sirach 14:7, and if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness, man. So they ain't bringing out these files just to let you know is UFOs out there. It's something sinister behind this whole ordeal, man. Just like it was with the Epstein file. It's something behind that, not just that they want to expose each other. No, it's something behind that, man. And that's the point of watching. Right? You had anything else out of Toss of Power?
Well, you know how the sorcery works. So by them with the Epstein files, at least, with them releasing it, nobody did nothing. So everybody's complicit. Mm-hmm. That's how that works. You got people individually, up and on, maybe making videos and this and that, but collectively, what was done? What is being done? Absolutely jackass shit. And so that's a way of saying that you cool with it. All right. Us, we excluded from all that. We doing our part. All right. This is what, as good soldiers, what we were commanded to do. You understand? But yeah, people should have been, that's when you riot. You find out, and then your children in the profile, in the log somewhere where all these perverts can, cause you want to have their school picture every year. Right. And it's a whole, your child is cataloged for perverts by, through these school pictures. Y'all should have, that's when you go out and march, not for no goddamn George Floyd. Yeah. And I'm not even saying marching, but that's when you go out and kick up dust. And I'm gonna leave it at that. But y'all will go, because all y'all shit is manufactured. Like you was talking about Trump, right? You give a manufactured man to a manufactured people. Even your riots and your protests are manufactured. The people should have been in an uproar when that mess came out. But they got to go to work because they on that rat wheel of bills, the rat wheel of bills. And they pricing you out of that. We being priced out of living. Because they want to bring you, again, the bottleneck. Everything is full go. They got to bring you into compliance for Revelation 13 and 16. But you got it.
That's it. So I read just the first two lines. We're gonna play this video. It says President Donald Trump has signaled the Pentagon is poised to unleash a fresh batch of previously undisclosed UFO-related documents, sparking intense public interest and a fresh debate over a long-standing mystery surrounding unidentified aerial phenomenon. It says he has reportedly hinted at imminent disclosures that could shed new light on decades of sightings and government investigations, man. So again, really this open way for Esau to bring in more false flags and Project Blue Beam and things to scare the people. So let's go ahead and play this quick vid.
Today we're talking about this.
They want to find out about the UFOs and anything having to do with UFO or related material, and we're going to be releasing a lot of things from that we have, and I think some of it's going to be very interesting to people. I've I've interviewed people, my first term primarily, but I interviewed some pilots, very solid people, and they said they saw things that you wouldn't believe. So
this is my good friend, a guy that I really admire. I'm David Grush. David, do you have like a few minutes, kind of give us a little breakdown of why you're talking with us here today? Then we'll ask you some questions.
And I want the American public to be comforted that the universe is teeming with life, it seems, and readily able to be explored. And the U.S. government does have a lot of information that I think will inspire Gen Alpha and Gen Z and the American populace at large. And it will be a new era. It'll be a little uncomfortable. There'll be some truths that are be a hard pill to swallow, but I think it's ultimately a good thing to get this out there. And I think the people of the world and the American public will be very happy to understand their place in the universe, so to speak. I hope for the best, and I think there's a high.
It's even I gotta get this real quick because he's making it sound all cute. Like the church is cute. Yeah, I think people gonna be happy to find out. I think it's gonna be cool. Man, it's a curse that the Lord sent it to you people. And that's what
yeah, I was thinking about that. Con. I was thinking, what you get the house of the thief? What you were thinking about?
Con.
And the curse.
Yeah, that's Zechariah 5, house of the thief. I read it. You can speak on it if you want.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Ice cream, man.
Con, I got you. This is Zechariah 5:1. But again, because he put it like, yeah, we discovered this, man. This is amazing. Though I'm sure what. Yeah, that's the one. That's what I was gonna get. Zechariah 5, house of the thief.
Okay, con. My bad. You got it out. My bad.
But just to add real kind. Now you go, Zaquan. But just to add real quick, and again, Esau trying to get ahead of the curve. He trying to control the narrative, man, as if they got everything under control. Yeah, we see them out there, man, some good stuff, and man, this is not what you people expecting. These ain't no little cute little aliens in there, man. Well, they ugly, but harmless aliens up in there. These are the very men who gonna help take down your world. Who's in those chariots? These are the very beings, man, angels who hate you just as much as the Lord hates you, and they can't wait to destroy America, man. That's what's being sent. That's what you're seeing. And another thing, Esau, I know he's seeing stuff out there because all empires have seen these chariots in the past. But I'm thinking about before the Lord destroyed an empire, what he do? He sent his angels. In Sodom and Gomorrah, he sent his angels down to see what was going on, see what was happening. He sent them down in a tower for the Tower of Babel, see what's up. Guess what? You got angels. You got angels walking around America, look like regular men. They checking out as far as the ground level for the Lord. But you also got chariots in this place, man, scoping it out. That's what the people don't know. So with all the sightings they seeing, it ain't that you seeing things and you got it under control and these vehicles scared to come closer to you. No, man. They scoping you out for the kill. That's what's happening. Zechariah 5:1, it says, then I turned.
Also, to add to that, Apostle Tahar, I heard this story, but I just took it with a grain of salt until Apostle Tahar brought it out a week ago. Not this weekend, weekend before last, about the guy that they had on the plane, cut him up and threw his body all in different parts of the world.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, he was alive. And then he told them, it's more of us, it's more people, it's more men like me, and we coming, pretty much. Yep. And I had heard that story, but you don't want to get too crunk. But when Apostle Tahar said it, I said, damn, that was real. And so, yeah, I don't know who that was, man. But yeah, they did all kind of stuff to him, tried to kill him a few times, I believe. And said when they landed the plane, he was there waiting on them. So yeah, Esau know that, just to go how you were saying, they seeing stuff, right, and up close. And then one Edomite gave a testimony, said, man, it looked like a people, they just gotta look like they ain't never been conquered. And he said it was some tall black men. So Yeah, they know. And like you say, they got to fake the people out. They're going to fake the people out.
Trying to find those videos. I know exactly what you're talking about. Exactly. Because I think in Dallas this past weekend, I forget who mentioned it. I think it was that somebody mentioned it about Esau, NASA, not NASA, I'm just saying NASA on the screen, but the CIA catching this black dude, like you were just saying, and cut him up on the so that is true. I was
Okay,
trying to
yeah,
find it. I can't
CIA.
though, just to back
Okay.
you up. But also this one right here with the dude talking about what he's seen in the chariots. Let me see if I can get it real
Well,
quick.
the guy that they said killed himself, he had broke their story. I forget his name, but damn, what was that guy name? But the government, whoever the powers that be, killed it. And the thing was, they said the police showed up, and then he killed himself on his porch. But he was the one that had broke that story. But yeah, you got it out.
Can I play this real quick for you? I'm gonna try to find that other one. But this to prove, man, this ain't no just cute stuff. Well, he gonna describe what he's seeing, but the beings controlling these vehicles, these beings will be used as a curse to go over this earth, mainly America, man.
7,000-mile-long elliptical cigar-shaped craft orbiting.
Oh, that says cigar shape. We about to read in Zechariah was probably a cigar-shaped chariot.
Okay.
Black aliens. I am about to show you the actual clip from the interview, and this is Norman Bergen. Yes, he used to work for NASA. He used to work for Lockheed. He has some pretty amazing credentials. He actually passed away in 2018. He also has a book called Ringmakers of Saturn. There are tons of pictures and photographs in this book, but the book reveals that NASA's Voyager 1 and 2 space probes took photographs of an estimated 7,000-mile-long elliptical cigar-shaped craft orbiting within the rings of Saturn. Now, in his book, there's actually 2 of these objects. You know what else was cigar-shaped? The second interstellar object, 2I Borisov. Now, you're going to hear the interviewer at the end mention this guy's name, and we'll get to him after.
Check this out.
Positing the idea that those vehicles contain, beings who are, maybe like us.
Yeah, I only go along with government images. And if you want to know about people kind of thing, there is the ship that picked up the Voyager capsule at Alameda Naval Shipyard. And they have a picture there of I think it's the Apollo flight that Bugs and Neil were on. But anyway, there is one image there that shows black people getting off.
So people with dark skin getting off.
Not dark, black.
Black skin.
Really black. Yeah.
Were they tall?
Yes.
Very tall? How tall? Do you know?
Well, they got out the doorway. I don't know how high that is, but
Well, what?
say 7 feet would be probably a conservative estimate.
Have you heard about Clark McClellan's statement about that?
No.
Oh, you haven't? Have you ever been in touch with him?
No.
No?
Now, the reason he said something very similar. He claims that in 1991, he saw an alien that was humanoid in form, stood on 2 legs, and approached 2 NASA astronauts in the cargo bay of a space shuttle. Norman said 7 feet was being modest, and Clark said they were about 9 feet. Now, Clark claimed that the government stripped him of his pension and forced him to live on Social Security. He passed away in 2021, and this year they had an estate auction. You guys, I went and looked up the auction. Some of this stuff sold for like $100.
Right, that was the point. You had this dude saying on a chariot, he's seen 7 foot being modest beings, black as he called them, beings coming off the chariot. You had another dude say the same thing. But the point is, this is what the Lord sent in the earth for, a judgment, man. For not, and see, Esau, you ain't gonna better take these beings and put them in a zoo. You know, like everything else you have done. This is different. The scriptures say the Lord ain't gonna meet you as a man. Guess who? His army that's coming with him won't be regular men either. These are superpowers, man. I'll read it for you at the Tazapado. Zechariah 5:1, it says, Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stilleth shall be cut off on this side according to it, and everyone that swears shall be cut off on that side according to it. But the flying roll, and it says a roll like an ancient scroll, which is a cigar-shaped chariot. But it says this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the earth. That's why these vehicles are being sent for judgment, man. This ain't nothing to play with. You got it, Zaquan.
No, that's it. You said it, bro. You got it.
Yeah, ain't nothing to play with, man. You know, and the Lord will eventually start showing it. And Esau know that. That's why he's trying to get ahead of the curve. He's trying to get it ahead of the curve. So one, he gonna probably do some foolish things with his Project Bluebeam. So not a world go demonize probably the chariot. You know, however it's gonna happen, man.
Yeah.
Put fear in the people. So when the chariots really do come, it's, you know, man. But it's so much that can happen with this. You know, ain't nobody worried about these UFO files. When they come out, they come out. Do we expect to see a whole lot? Not really. Not really, because you ain't seen them with the Epstein. They probably go show you a little grainy image. That's it. You see? But matter of fact, I got a quick precept, real quick, Tazapal.
Yeah, let's go.
Real quick, just to show the Lord gonna reveal these chariots in full when his son come back. Though we might see some before, you know, in Jacob's trouble, we might see a couple of them, but in a full glory as it is, how Esau talking about he got files on him. No, the world go see him when the Lord come back, and the scriptures go say that. This second Ezra chapter 13 and verse 51 in the GNT. Now to give us some context, Ezra seen the Lord coming back on a chariot in this chapter, on the UFO. Matter of fact, I'm gonna jump up. Second Ezra's 13 in the GNT and verse 3. And as I watched, the wind brought with it out of the sea. Now it says out the sea, right? Now we know Yahweh shall go come from the heavens, which, you know, the heavens is likened unto the Shemayim, the water. But in this vision that Ezra's had, he literally seen Yahweh Shai coming up out of the water, though. And when we jump down, we're going to get that verse that I was about to get on why he came out the water. Now, he not literally going to come out the water, but we're going to read why the Lord had to happen in this vision that Ezra seen. Because clearly he was flying in the air, as we're going to read. And it says, verse 3, and as I watched, the wind brought with it out of the sea what looked like a man, it's Yahweh Shai. And he was flying on the clouds, the chariots. And when he turned his face, everything he looked at began to tremble. And when he spoke, everyone who heard his voice melted like wax. It says, then I watched the man carve out, verse 7, a high mountain and fly upon it. So Yahweh shall go come back on top of his chariot. Now I'm going to jump down to the point because Esau talking about all these files. They go release imagery. But this is what the Lord said in verse 51. This is Ezra speaking to the Lord. Then I answered and said, Lord and Master, please tell me why the man came up out of the sea? This is the answer from the Lord. He answered, because no one can explore the bottom of the sea to find out what is there. In the same way, no human being can see my son or those who come with him until the day that has been fixed. Come on, man. You see? So Esau talking about, yeah, I know he got pictures, I know he got proof, but it's not to what he bragging on. He bragging like he's seen everything in the chariot. You know, like he got alien bodies and all. The point is, the Lord said this true glory ain't gonna be seen to the day they really show up and bring damage, man, to America. You know. But that was all I had on that, Elder Taz Apostle. Like it, I was a little long.
Yeah, that's on point.
But it's kind of the Elder Ayashamath got one from Mississippi. Isaiah 19:1. Isaiah 19:1, it says, the burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud. Again, the clouds are the chariots. And there's multiple scriptures say the Lord go come on his. Look, Yahweh shall go have the fathership. And if for all eyes to see him, as the scriptures say, he can't be inside of it. You know, like he in a cockpit flying a plane. You know, we got to squint like, man, I think that's him right there in that one. No, he gonna be on top of it. Revelation 19 say that he was sitting on a white horse. Isaiah 19, we about to read, he go come riding on a swift cloud. The Lord go stunt on the world he created, man. It says Isaiah 19:1, the burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, shall come into America. And this is when the world go meet its maker, literally. It says, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst thereof, man. That's it. I get another one. Isaiah 44:24. Thus saith Yahweh power, thy redeemer, and he that formed thee from the womb. I am the Lord that maketh all things, that stretcheth forth the heavens alone, that spreadeth abroad the earth by myself, that frustrateth the tokens of the liars, and maketh diviners mad, that turneth wise men backward and maketh their knowledge foolish. And that's what the Lord doing. See, Esau, he trying to get ahead of the curve, but Isaiah 47 say what? Isaiah 47 say when he, at the end of his kingdom, when he try to use that ancient sorcery and witchcraft that he used to come into power, it ain't gonna work this time. It ain't gonna work this time. That's why Project Bluebeam, even if you do it, it might mess up, it might start glitching in the sky, you know. People looking up and it start glitching. You know, the battery die or something.
Yeah, Tom.
You got it, Zaquan?
No, yeah, you right. I was just agreeing.
Yeah, the brothers Yakar and Lamad, they say the individual that you was talking about was known as Black Jesus, who was cut up, hacked to death, and his body disposed of in a shallow pit with Stephen Torrey of Papua New Guinea leader. And it says, and he told Esau, since you don't want me here, I'm coming back with many men like me. Yep, that's exactly what you was talking about.
Yeah, Black Jesus. Okay. The water, brothers, the water.
I got one more from Yadamah, Revelation 1:7. It says, behold, he cometh with clouds, the chariots, and every eye shall see him. And they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall well before him, shall well because of him, even so to wild, man. So yeah, man, the Lord gonna make his entrance to this world, and it's the least of what people expect. You got it, Zaquan. You about to say something?
Hey, no, you went into the elder posted Isaiah 19, which spoke about Egypt, but you know, when we came out of the first Egypt, it was by a cloud by day and a pillar by night, which was the chariot. The same way we're gonna come out of this Egypt in the clouds. Paul spoke about being caught up to meet the Lord in the clouds. You know, yeah, it's gonna be a reunion on the chariot. A big family, a big party, family reunion, blowout extravaganza. I don't know exactly the order how it's gonna go down, but you know, yeah, it's gonna be some celebrating. You know, however it go down. But yeah, man, the same way we came out of ancient Egypt. You know, well, we wasn't in the clouds, but we was we was assisted by the cloud.
That's right.
You know.
Now we're gonna be in there.
But yeah, and with that, you know, came the protection. Wasn't nothing gonna mess with us until they, you know, brought that calf in. And that's a Jake problem all the time. You know, you usually I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna word it. People destroy themselves, you know, and just like, well, I don't know what you. I ain't gonna take over, brother. Go ahead.
Nah, go ahead, Saquon, you got it.
Your
You got it.
direction you was going.
Nah, go ahead. You got it. We flowing with the spirit. We got it. You know, it's all good.
No, you know, Jake always let Esau co-op, you know, or movements, for lack of a better term. You know, but even not saying that this truth is a movement, but niggas let Esau co-op, you know, you got co-opted camps that invited the devil in. And that's how, and they're destroying people. And that's all due to the Most High. It was set up for that. But, you know, Jake, they love to strike deals with the devil. You know, but yeah, brother, yeah, you can't never, with Jake, you can't never have nothing solid. I don't know, they just stuck on this paradigm with this Esau system, and everything is getting ready to change.
That's right.
You know, so we got to have a new mindset. You know, we can't be thinking about, you know, the ways in which we was raised and how we were brought up. We're supposed to mortify that. We're supposed to kill the old man, you know, renew our minds in Yahweh Shah Mashiach, you know. But right, Jake still want to vote and participate in this. This the Titanic. The U.S. is the Titanic. And Jake still think it's something here for them. And it's not. It's nothing here for us. It never was. You know, and they getting ready to show you. But you know, that was it. That was it. You got it.
I got a real quick one. That remind me of Ezekiel chapter 21 or 20 or 21. But it's an account that happened back in the Babylonian Empire. You know, when Nebuchadnezzar was starting to make his conquering, or you know, doing his conquering in the earth, and you had Jake at that time made a deal with the Babylonians, a treaty, pretty much. Yeah, we'll be under y'all. You know, we'll kind of just pay y'all, you know, so on and so forth. Give y'all things here and there. Y'all just kind of, you know, what they call it, a vassal. In other words, you know, we'll just be under y'all.
Right.
But the thing is that in Ezekiel 21, it says when the king of Babylon was continuing his conquering, he got close to, he was between either he was going to go to Ammon or he was going to go to Judah to judge Jerusalem, right? Which is mostly the southern kingdom at the time. And it was a fork in the road, and the Lord told him, go judge Jerusalem. The thing is, it said, just to back up what you're saying, it said when Nebuchadnezzar pulled up to judge Jake, he had battering rams. He closed in the city, right? He had troops out there. It says marching for the kill. Now, as that's going on, it says Jake seen all that. The Israelites in the city seen all that. It says, but they didn't think nothing of it because they had a treaty with the Babylonians.
They thought they had a deal. Yeah.
So they ain't take it serious because, like, well, shoot, we made a deal with them. We good, you know, we good, we straight. But it says, but the king of Babylon go remind them about their wickedness. The same thing go play out in these times.
That's the same thing that's going down right now. That's right. That's a beautiful point. You know, that's exactly Jake being sold up the river and still clinging to this sinking ship. But they think, well, these cats, the 501c3 crowd, oh, we good. And that's really how they think.
Yeah.
I'm good. You know, it ain't really we good, it's I'm good. Because you know how them 501c3 people all think alike. Me. My. That's why they take the agreement in the first place. They trying to come up. You know, they ain't thinking about the people. But yeah, you absolutely, that's a beautiful point, man. And yeah, scripture say ain't nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun. And that's just one more parallel linking America to Babylon.
That's right.
But yeah, you got it, brother. That was, yeah.
Kind of got a real
because they don't even know how much shit that Trump been repealing from the civil rights, you know, and just basic rights that's being undone. You know, like we was talking about earlier on segregation. This nigga done brought back segregation.
Right.
You know, and I don't mean you don't see it, but companies can reserve the right now not to serve you.
Oh, hold on. I got some to back you up. You can finish it like I got some to back
no,
up.
I
Just
was gonna say based on race or skin color. Not because you ain't got no shoes or no shirt on. Yeah, no, because of ethnicity. But you got it out.
Nah, it just happened. There was a nigga kicked out a white restaurant in South Carolina. And pretty much, you know, Jake had a mustard shirt on, just in there recording, talking about he a food critic. The owner.
Time to bring the popcorn out.
Can you meet me at the front door?
Huh?
Come to the front door with me.
Who, you?
I'm asking you to come to the front door.
Oh, yeah, come on. See, I thought he wanted to talk some business until I noticed his facial expression and body language. Who you is?
I'm the manager. Please come to the front door.
Oh, you the manager?
Yes,
Who you
sir.
want me to come to the front door?
So I'm gonna give, if y'all ain't see it, it's supposedly a food critic, the nigga right here, and he was in his restaurant in South Carolina, and you had the owner right here, and also the CEO of the company or the manager. Soon as Jake went in there, the restaurant called Percy's and Willie's in Florence, South Carolina. But Jake was in there. There's a lot of other people in there. And he started recording, you know, doing his food critic thing. And then the people pretty much was like, nah, you gotta go, you know, you gotta go. At first, they didn't tell him why. And then I was like, oh, you recording. You ain't no recording here. You know, try to move the goalpost. But the point is, like you were saying, this was happening. This was what, a day ago.
I'm asking you to leave the business.
Why?
We don't allow videoing in here.
Y'all heard that? This man said call the police.
Yeah, anyway, you know, you check it out. I'll put in the chat for y'all. But they call the police on Jake, got him kicked out. You know? Yeah, the brother put it, Sirach 12:10. Never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. That's it. Eventually it's gonna show. Like we read earlier, if he do it good, he do it unwillingly, and at the last, he gonna show why he did it. He's gonna show why he did it, and it wasn't for good. You know?
That's right.
But I had a quick one to back up what you were saying. Isaiah 10:20 says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them. And when you go into this word stay, I believe is the Hebrew word sha'ain, which is no more go to our enemies for support. We ain't gonna no longer look to them for hope and help. No, now that our eyes been open, we going to the Lord, the true source of all things.
That's it.
Esau really just the middleman. We going to the source.
Right.
Says,
we back connected, you know, through the Holy Spirit. We back connected. That's right, brother. You got it.
Yep, like it's saying Psalms 2, let us break their bands asunder and cut their cords, right? They try to cut us away from our power, but now we back connected. You know, so it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, which is the so-called white man in these nations. It says, but shall stay or trust in or go to the Lord for support. It says, but shall stay upon Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, in truth, man. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power. Just to back you up on that, you know.
Yes, sir.
But
that's right on point.
You had something else, Zaquan?
No, I ain't had nothing.
Okay, we could play a little bit of this video. That's pretty much it. But and it's good because a lot of our people trusting in this government, and this is the last thing this government go do, that the people go fall for the RFID help. And this time, it ain't gonna be about if you just believe or not, if you think you're a citizen, if you stand up for the flag. No, it's gonna come down to your trusting and believing in the system, go boils down to whether you go take a digital C-HIP or not. RFID C-HIP or not, which is the MOTB. And that's his ultimate plan to control you people out there. So the point is separate from this man in the system now. Like now, come back to the Lord now, man. Because Esau about to show his horns more than he ever did. You know? But we'll play just a little bit of Quan. We ain't got to play much, maybe like 3 minutes, and that's it, you know? But this is his ultimate plan, man, of full control over the earth. This is the end game right here in his eyes, which our apostles been talking about, and now it's here. So this from Redacted, it was put out 2 days ago. It says a microchip in your hand, Sweden's digital ID microchip experiment 10 years later.
Well, a few years ago here on Redacted, we covered Sweden's bizarre microchip implanting story and their plan, which would have everyday citizens opting to have microchips implanted right into their bodies, right into their hands, the RFID or near field communications chips, or NFC, basically the size of a grain of rice. And thousands of Swedes took the plunge. And since the story first published, many more thousands have taken the plunge. The idea is that the chips would speed up your user's daily life, make their lives more convenient, access their homes, office, gyms, just swipe it right on your door or keypad and you're right in there. Here is one of the individuals lining up to get one of the chip implants and just being able to get it poked right in the hands. Now, when the program started, the demand was off the charts. There were waiting lists. Companies could insert these things. They couldn't insert these things fast enough. And then shortly after it won high praise from the World Economic Forum.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you want to track people and they let you.
Exactly.
That's on them.
So World Economic Forum is like, hey, this is great. And if you read the article, the World Economic Forum piece on this, they even point out it's no big deal. It's just like a simple, like a slight sting. When you get it, no big deal.
Imagine telling our youngest who hates shots,
yeah,
you're just going to get this chip forever. It's only going to hurt for a little bit.
And we'll be able to track everything that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flash forward to 2026. And now these and where are things at with this program? We wanted to check in on this program, see how it's being floated for digital IDs, digital currency, how it's competing with the incredibly popular bank ID system in Sweden. It's very, very popular. It's almost at 100% usage, the bank ID system in Sweden, 100%, up to 8.7 million users now across the country. It's basically their dominant digital ID system. So is there a marriage between like implanting yourself with these chips and using the country's digital ID system? Forget cash, forget everything. It's all digital now, and all they want to do is track you. Well, today we're thrilled to have Maria Z joining us today to talk all about this from Z Media, and who's been watching, of course, she has very keen insights into watching how all of this tracking across these countries around Europe, through Australia, the United States.
And it's funny, other times of power, like the last few people we'll have on, like on a Thursday live, they've been on a lot of other people's shows lately. Like how we've been pulling this woman right here, Z Media. Yeah, not she on Redacted. Which Professor Jang, everybody on him now. But a lot of these people that we'll show videos of lately, they've been on other people's shows that we tune into too.
Right.
So this is another thing.
I've been watching her since the shutdown, COVID, and all that. That's when I first seen her. But yeah, she's been on pretty much. Well, she's been on a lot of platforms.
Yeah, I'm starting to think like it's like because even us, like we know certain sites to go to, certain people to watch. It gotta be like a us in the know type of deal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
States are unfolding and watching this legislation that's been moving. Great.
Like other times, not times of power. Other Yashawama said they the third witness. They the third witness.
Maria, welcome back to the show.
Great. You both, again, thank you so much for inviting me. These particular chips, I will say from the outset, I'm not that worried about the microchips, and I'll explain why. The uptake, yes, there were a few thousand people that rushed to do it in the beginning, but I think that pretty much after 2018, that slowed down a lot. There was the initial rush of, a few thousand that said, yeah, this is great, and we're probably paid to do it. But it's not something that's widely popular at this stage. What I'm more concerned about, truthfully, is an admission from MIT that happened in November of 2025. So a publication from MIT News actually reads, quote, new therapeutic brain implants could defy the need for surgery. Now, I'll read you a couple of quotes from this article. It is extremely alarming. MIT researchers developed microscopic wireless bioelectronics that could travel through the body's circulatory system and autonomously self-implant in a target region of the brain where they could provide, quote unquote, focused treatment, because it's about treating Alzheimer's and things of this nature, right? Not covert operations, everyone. In a study on mice, the researchers showed that after injection, these minuscule implants can identify and travel to a specific brain region without the need for human guidance. Once there, they can be wirelessly powered to provide electrical stimulation to the precise area. So a couple of...
Check that out. That's pretty much all we got to play, but check that out, Tazapá. I know you touched on it a lot about those juices. When people got those juices, that was really the first installment of the MOTB, because they put those nanotechs in you so it could fight or work with your blood cells, so your cells don't fight against it. So now when you get the actual digital RFID in you, in Esau mind, everything will work smoothly. It ain't just that you go get a C-hip and then boom. No, they been started this. People already got the first download in them. If you got that jab, you got the first download in you. Like you got it in you, the first step of it, you know, to help the real MOTB work. So like other times, but you got it.
To help it. No, you good, brother. No, shoot, you good. I don't know. I'm hoping with the UFO stuff that they disclose some of the stuff with Magellans, which bugged me out. You know, on the onset of me coming into the truth, you know, I've seen Magellans with these crackers. These Edomites had wires growing out of their skin, and that bugged me out. What the hell? You know, how is that? And so fast forward to 2020, and it's starting to make sense. But yeah, the graphene is like, that's the wiring. It will conduct the signals. It's like a secondary what you shit, I keep forgetting that word, nervous system.
Man, I just looked that up, made my skin crawl.
It'll act as a secondary nervous system, but it'll graph to your nervous system, your spine and all your nerves, and it'll work like that, you know, to where the elite can remote control you with that graphene. And it works with the like the brother had posted that video, the metals in your body. This is why they spraying these metals, they putting it in the food. The graphene takes the metals in your blood, and it's building shit in your body. Some people die. Some people just, you know, get real sick, and some people can, you know, withstand. But those who withstand, you know, with whatever that graphene, however it reorganizes in your body, you know, and once you get that mark, you know, they'll be able to manipulate you with frequency. All right. And that's why they want these towers everywhere. It's for control and surveillance and all that. But it's also to hit you with these signals, you know. But yeah, it's diabolical. So right, what that stuff can do, it could take the metals and build wires in your system. So that's where I believe Magellans come from, because that bugged me out. I seen, and when they try to pull it, it hurt. It has feeling, and that's because it's tied to their nervous system. So they just can't pull it out. That shit hurt, you know. But yeah, that's how the graphene and stuff is gonna work. Oh, and the graphene is in the food now. You know, it's in the food, and that the smart dust, the brother does the graphene in the dust. You know, but the Lord got his. You know. But yeah, brother, that was it. You know,
Now you can,
that's all coming for that mark, the mark of the beast. But right, the people are, as I stated before, back in the day when you had cable, before you had to get, well, in the days of cable, you had to get the box. But then TVs came, what they call cable ready. Well, everybody that got the juice is now chip ready.
yeah.
They're chip ready. So now they just got to put it in. And it's going to link up with the graphene and all the other stuff. And you're going to be juiced in. You're part of the singularity. You know, hey. But yeah, brother, you got it.
Now that's it.
The
Now
internet of things, the internet of bodies, you know. But you got it, brother.
I'm over here scratching my. I looked up that Morgellons or whatever, man. That stuff made my skin crawl.
Man, I saw that. I saw that even before, you know, I saw the apostles, man. Yeah, that shit'll bug you out.
Yeah, that don't got my body.
Yeah, it'll make your skin crawl.
Man, it's just wires coming out this woman's stomach and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Freaky looking. But yeah, I'm gonna stop looking at it. Crazy. I forget what it's called when you see like a bunch of circles. I forget what it's called in the mess. It's something. Anyway, that's what it remind me of. I got my skin all. Yeah. That's
that's Esau, bro. And people are gonna go and let him put a microchip in them. This man is diabolical. He's a psychopath. And a social, he's a psycho and a sociopath. But yeah, brother, don't get me started, man. You got it.
Right. I'm thinking that trypophobia. When you see like a bunch of circles and your skin start crawling. That was that remind me.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's called trypophobia, I think.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
Yeah, but anyway, it's anyway. But no, that's pretty much it. Aquarium, take us out.
Yeah, all right. Then come, the water to you all, man, for tuning in another Thursday watch. You know, a live stream. Let me see. More scriptures, huh? Yeah, we get the main ones, but yeah, the water for all the precepts and for y'all tuning in, man. Y'all add to the spirit of the live, you know. So and y'all get us, you know, y'all give us inspiration too, you know. So yeah, the water for that. And Lord willing, you all was edified in this lesson. But yeah, we're gonna close that right there. We pray that you all was edified. And we're gonna say again, you know, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Hashem, so honors to the apostles, elders, bishops of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000, as well as the rest of the elect. All right. To the next one, y'all stay up, man. Much love. Shalom.
Shalom. The water for tuning in. Shalom.